We are going to get started on our back today. So go ahead and find a spot on your back. Just any comfy spot will do. So you can have knees bent, feet on the floor, or you can have your legs extended, totally up to you. We're going to start today with a little breath work. So that we start, this actually breath work can help with your posture also. So we all need to learn how to breathe. That is another way that we help to mitigate stress. Like a lot of times, right, we carry stress around in our back. So this breathing will start to help to, let some of that stress go. All right, so if you're on your back, go ahead and start taking some deep cleansing breaths in through the nose. You can sigh it out if you like to. Maybe the eyes are closed and you're just starting to come to your mat for your yoga practice today. Breathing nice and deep. And then you are welcome to place your hands on your belly. We're just going to do about 5 rounds of deep belly breathing. So what we want to do here is, as you inhale, the hands are, you want to focus the breath right where the hands are, so that the belly kind of inflates like a balloon as you inhale. And as you exhale, the belly softens and the hands sink back down. So let's try that 5 times. Inhale deeply through your nose, inflate the belly, and exhale through the nose. All the way out, breathe it all out. And try that again. A long, slow, deep breath in. And breathe it out. Relax the shoulders, breathe again. And let it go. And again. And let's do one more together. Deep breath in. And let it go. You can relax your arms at your sides, continue to breathe normally. And just bring your awareness here as you're on your mat, breathing. And gathering up all the scattered parts of you. So just kind of thinking of those parts of you that maybe have been extended this week to help someone, or worrying about someone. All of those pieces of you that get scattered throughout your life. And I want you to imagine kind of gathering all of those pieces up and bringing them back. And just taking a moment of awareness, noticing what's occurring to you right now, what's going on for you right now. So maybe you notice there's places in the body where you're holding on to tension or pain. Just noticing. Without assigning a meaning behind it. We're just noticing. And we'll take one more deep cleansing breath here. And let it go. We'll begin to gently wiggle the toes and fingers, wrists and ankles. And noticing, how does your back feel today? Maybe you're already feeling some discomfort as you lie on the floor. That's okay. We're just noticing. Let's reach the arms up overhead, stretching for the wall behind you. Nice stretch of the spine. And then we're going to bring our arms into cactus arms. So we've got the elbows bent and the hands lying on the floor behind you. Let's go ahead and bend the knees, feet on the floor. We can kind of wiggle the low back down into the floor a little bit. Take the feet wide. And we're going to take both knees to the left. And you're going to turn your head to look right. We're just going to hold here for a few breaths. Letting the knees fall, noticing where you feel the stretch. Couple more breaths here. And then we'll go the opposite direction. So carefully bringing the knees back to center. And then over to the right, turn your head to look left. And again, take a few more breaths here. We're stretching out the hips and the neck. And then we'll go ahead, one more breath here. Bringing the knees upright, bring the head back to center. Let's take the knees from side to side just a few times. Just continuing to kind of wake up that part of the body. And coming to a stop, knees pointed up towards the ceiling. We're going to hug the right knee into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze here. And then we're going to kick that heel up towards the sky. So we're getting a stretch through the back of the leg. We can bend and straighten the leg a few times just to kind of start to wake up the back of the leg. Your left knee can stay bent, foot on the floor, or you can extend it if you want a little more stretch here. Let's go ahead and extend that leg. You can grab onto the back of the leg anywhere that feels comfortable. Let's do a few ankle circles here with the right foot. Just both directions. And then we'll go ahead and bend that knee back into the chest. Go ahead and let the right foot find the floor as you squeeze the left knee into the chest. Same thing here. We're going to kick the foot up a few times, bending and straightening the leg. Just waking that part of the leg up. And then we'll kick the foot all the way up, straightening the leg. Let's do a few ankle circles here. I think we forget that our posture sometimes has to do with the health of our feet as well, right? We're gonna stretch those guys out too. All right, and bending the knee, bring it back and down. So from here, we're gonna roll onto our left side. We're going to keep this right knee kind of towards the floor. You can extend your left leg behind. You're gonna hook your left hand onto your right knee here. So we're in this nice deep twist. And if you need to, you can always grab something to put under your head. So if that's more comfortable, grab a pillow or a blanket or something to put under your head. So we're in this nice deep twist. We're going to take your right hand and from the shoulder, kind of reach it forward as far as you can get it. And then moving from the shoulder, we're going to peel that arm back and all the way behind you. So you're feeling this stretch through the front of the shoulder, maybe through the back. And let's try that again. So reaching the right arm forward, reach it as far as it will go. And then from the shoulder, pulling it back, reaching behind you. And let's do that one more time, reaching as far as you can, and then pull it all the way back. And then while we're here, we're going to bend the elbow so you come into this cactus arm. And now what we're going to do is start to reach up towards the top of your mat. And you might not get very far before you start to experience some tightness or pain. So you're just going to go to kind of right before you start to feel that pain. So I know you can't really see. Let me see if I can move around here. So my arm is here, and I'm just going to start to reach it up towards the top of my mat and pull it back down. Let's try that 2 more times. Reach it up and pull it down. And see if you can keep your fingertips towards the floor. They might not touch, that's okay. Reach it up and pull it back down. Beautiful. We'll go ahead and roll on to the back and do the other side. So we're rolling now to our right side. We're going to have this left knee crossing over the top, hooking your right hand on the left knee. Your left arm is going to reach forward as far as it will go. And then from the shoulder, we peel it back and open. So let's add some breath here. So we're going to inhale as we reach the left arm forward. Exhale as we pull it all the way back and across. And again, reach it forward. We're moving nice and slow here, getting the full effect of this deep twist. And one more time, reach it across and pull it all the way back. Now we're going to do our cactus arm with our left arm. So we're bending the elbow, fingers are towards the top of your mat. And let's try the slide on this side. So reaching the left arm up towards the top of your mat and slide it back down to cactus. Let's add some breath. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale, slide it down. Notice what's different about this side. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, slide it back down. Fabulous. And go ahead. Rolling onto that right side, we're actually now going to come up and push yourself all the way up to seated. So go ahead and find your way to an easy seated pose. And we're going to be sitting up nice and tall. So we've got our shoulders relaxed. We have that little string kind of lifting up through the crown of the head. And our tailbone is sinking down into the floor. So let's go ahead and start with some shoulder circles. So you're just going to hug the shoulders up towards the ears, around to the back, down and forward a few times. Maybe the eyes are closed here and we're just tuning into what's happening in the shoulders. And let's go the opposite direction. Up, forward, and down. And then from here, we're going to inhale, arms up overhead. Maybe the gaze reaches up as well. Bring the palms of the hands together and down to the heart. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms forward as you round the upper back. So this is kind of that cat-cow movement where our belly button draws in towards the spine. The back is rounded. We bring the chin into the chest. Spreading the shoulder blades. Inhale all the way back up, reaching the hands as high as they'll go, and then floating the arms down nice and slow. From here, we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back, pull the hands down towards the floor, the shoulders wrap back. So you want to actually feel the shoulders wrapping back, the chest opens, shoulder blades squeeze together. Take a breath here. This is like my favorite stretch when I've been sitting for a long time. It's just kind of hanging out here for a bit. Breathing. And go ahead and release the hands. Shake out the arms. From here, we're going to do some neck stretching. So we're going to take your right fingertips, walk them out on the floor away from you without kind of leaning towards that right hand. So just as far as they'll go as you're sitting up in that nice straight line. Now we're going to lean our head away from the arm. So you're going to take your left ear to left shoulder. So we're getting this nice stretch through the right side of the neck, and we're breathing nice and deep. As you exhale, blow out any tension or tightness. Let's do that again. Deep breath in and blow it out. Now we're going to carefully turn the chin so that we're looking down at our shoulder. So now we're stretching a different part of the neck. Breathe in and out. Now we're going to do, take the chin towards the ceiling. So we're still leaning to the side, but now we're taking the chin up. Now we're only going to do this if it feels good in your body. So if this doesn't feel good, just leave it. Take a couple breaths here. And carefully bring the head back up to center. Let's try the other side. So right hand can come in, left fingertips walk out away from you as far as they can go. Leaning your head now towards the right shoulder. Couple of breaths here. Again, exhaling, blow out any tension or tightness. The breath helps the stuckness, the stuck energy to kind of flow out. So we want to breathe it out with intention. And now we're going to take the chin towards the shoulder. So again, a couple of breaths here. And now if you like to, turn the chin towards the ceiling, breathe. And carefully, slowly bring the head back to center. From here, we're just going to start to draw a circle with the tip of our nose. So your hands can just be at your sides if you like. And we're going to start bring the head down and then over to the side, up and around. So we're drawing a circle on the wall in front of you with the tip of your nose. And then we're going to go the opposite direction. Nice and slow, just noticing where you feel it. And go ahead and come back to a stop. Any other movements that your neck is longing for today, go ahead and do those. And then bringing the hands to the knees. From here, we're going to do a little seated cat-cow. So again, hands on the knees, sitting up nice and tall. Let's go ahead and press the heart forward, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the chin, and then we're going to round. So draw the belly button in, round the back, tuck the chin. Inhale, come forward. And exhale, round it. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling forward. And exhale, round. And coming back to seated. From here, we're going to come to hands and knees. So we're going to kick the feet to the side, come to hands and knees. So we'll start again with some more cat-cow. You're welcome to pad your knees or your wrists with a blanket. You could also just kind of fold your mat over a few times if you have ouchy wrists, and that can also be really helpful. So we're here, we've got our wrists stacked underneath the shoulders, unless that's too painful, and then you walk the hands forward a little bit. And we're gonna go ahead and drop the belly, lift the tailbone, lift the chin. We're gonna hold here. Normally we keep moving in cat-cow, but we're gonna hold here today for a few breaths. Stretching out the spine. And then we're going to push down into the hands, round the back, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, press the hands down into the floor so that those shoulder blades can really come apart. And we'll hold here for a few breaths. And then slowly come back to neutral. So now we're going to take the left ear and left hip and see if we can get them to say hello to each other. So it's really just a side bend, bringing the ear towards the hip. They probably aren't going to touch today, but we can try. And then come back around to the front. Let's try the other side. So I'm just moving my hips and my ear towards each other. So I'm getting a stretch on the opposite side. And let's do that a few times, just going back and forth a few times. And coming back to neutral. From here, we're going to send the right leg back. And if you want to practice your balance or increase your core strength, you're going to reach the opposite arm forward. So left arm, right leg, right? So this is helping to build our core, which is how we strengthen our spine so that we don't have posture issues. And maybe we bring the elbow and the knee in together as we round, and then reach it back up. And let's try that 2 more times. Rounding, reach it up. And again, and reach it up and hold. So we're going to hold here and breathe. Careful not to let your head droop, but nice line, woo, from the crown to the tailbone. Reach, reach, reach. Keep breathing. And bring the hand down and bring the knee down. Take a breath, take a rest. Now we'll try the other side. Left leg goes back, right arm reaches forward. So same idea here. We're going to hold and breathe. And if the hand needs to come down, that's okay. And then we'll bring the knee and elbow together. Reach it up. And again. Reach it up. Last time. Reach it up and hold. Breathe. And bring the hand down. Bring the knee down. Let's make your way back to child's pose. So you can have knees together or take the knees wide. Toes touch. Making your way down to your child's pose. Again, since we have our blanket or pillow today, you're welcome to use that under the head. Up to you. We're just going to hang out here for a moment and breathe. I don't know if you guys can hear, but Otis is fast asleep, snoring happily. One more breath here. We're going to walk both hands over to the right side, stretching out the left shoulder. Now over to the left side, stretching out the right shoulder. And now back to center. And from here, we're going to make our way onto our belly. So you can come back to hands and knees and chaturanga, or whatever way makes the most sense to you. So we're here in our bellies. We've got our toes pointed behind us. Tops of the feet are pressing down into the floor. We're going to press down through the pubic bone. The hands are right underneath the shoulders and the elbows are kind of pointed behind you. So if your elbows are out wide, bring them in so that they are kind of hugging into the ribs. So we're going to do some cobra today. This is really a great and very important pose as we work on our posture. Today we're going to hold cobra. So we have our forehead or chin on the mat, whichever is most comfortable. We're pushing down into the tops of the feet. The low belly pushes down into the floor, and then we sweep the nose forward and up, and we start to lift up, but we're just using the strength of the back. So the hands could go away. They're just kind of here for support. The hands can be lightly on the mat, or you can hover them. And we're breathing. We squeeze the shoulder blades together. Reach the heart forward. Maybe the knees lift up off your mat. Breathe. And lower down nice and slow. Take a pause. We're going to do that again. So you can just relax for a sec. And let's go ahead and do that again. So go ahead and sweep the nose forward, lift the heart. Maybe the hands lift up, maybe the knees lift up. Breathe. This is how we build the strength in our back. One more breath here. And lower down. Fabulous. All right, so we're going to do that one more time. This time you have the option of interlacing the fingers behind your back. So it's totally optional. You can do the same one we just did, or you can try this one. So we'll reach up, hands interlaced behind the back. Now the hands start to reach for the feet. Reaching, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Breathe. And lower it down. You made it. Take the one cheek to your mat. Let your shoulders round down into the floor for a second. We're just going to pause here and breathe. Body's relaxed. Breath is moving. As you're ready, you can make your way back to child's pose or to downward facing dog. As I said, this is a choose your own adventure day. So you get to decide what would feel best. Maybe you do a child's pose first and then make your way into a down dog. And if you're in your down dog, you're pedaling the feet, stretching out the backs of the calves. Stretching out the feet. Pushing the hands down into the floor so that you get this nice flat back. Ew. And then you'll start to walk your feet up to the top of your mat, coming into a forward fold. And hopefully my sound is still working because I lost I'm good? Okay, thanks. My one earbud likes to fall out. All right, so let's come into a forward fold. Knees are deeply bent. So as deep as you can get them. And go ahead and let the head hang. So if you're here, kind of looking towards the top of your mat, see if you can go ahead and let the top of your head start to fall towards your mat. So we're hanging upside down. Again, knees can be deeply bent. We're going to start to roll up one vertebra at a time, nice and slow. Push down into the feet. Upper body's hanging as you push yourself all the way up to standing. And find your mountain pose. So our mountain pose, we've got feet about hip width distance apart, soft knees, arms are relaxed at your sides, and your shoulders are or your shoulder blades are reaching down the back. But at the same time, the top of your head is lifted. The feet are grounded down into the earth. So this is what we should be experiencing in our posture. Shoulders back. Nice long neck, long spine. And just notice how this feels for a moment, because this is kind of where we want to try and work towards. We may not be close yet, and that's okay. This is where we're working towards. Breathe one more breath here. And let it go. All right, so now we're gonna grab your strap or blanket or towel or whatever you have so we can work on our shoulders. So you're gonna take the strap in your hand, a nice wide grip. And I'm gonna show you where we're going. So we're going up and then behind. Now what's gonna happen, likely to happen, is you get here and you try and go back and it's like, I can't get there. And so you're doing this kind of thing. And we don't want that. So what you can do is either take your grip even wider, and that might help, or you might just come to here, and kind of stop it here and go forward again. And you might just come here, okay? So a couple of options, couple of ways to modify. You're gonna do the best you can. So starting in your mountain pose, we're inhaling, arms up overhead, and exhale, hands reach back behind. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, forward. Let's try that 2 more times. Inhale up and forward. All right, last one. Inhaling up, exhaling behind. Notice where you're feeling this. Inhale up and exhale forward. Shake it out. Then we're going to keep our strap. We're going to do a different stretch where we are going to, so this is a stretch that some of you might be able to do without a strap. I can't, so I'm going to use a strap. So you're going to take your strap in your right hand, lift it up overhead, and we want the strap to kind of dangle down in the center of the back. So then we're going to take this left hand, reach back for the strap, and bending both elbows, start to walk the hands towards each other. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing, but the hands start to walk towards each other. So we end up looking something like this, okay? We're just gonna hold here and breathe. This is a great pose to help your posture. So if you did this like a couple minutes a day, this would really benefit your posture. So we're breathing nice and deep here. Don't forget to breathe. Allowing the shoulders to soften. And your grip might be way down here, right? So it doesn't really matter. Yours is gonna look very different from mine. Let's do one more breath here. And carefully let go with the left hand, let go with the right. Shake it out. All right, let's try the other side. So now we're gonna take the left arm up, reach the strap down behind you, bending that left elbow. The right hand's gonna come behind and grab the strap, and maybe you start to walk the hands towards each other. So you can see, like on this side, I have a harder time. So you might experience one side that's a little tighter than the other. So we're grabbing the strap with this hand. Couple more breaths here. And then we'll go ahead and release. Shake it out. Awesome. Go ahead and set your strap to the side. Fabulous. All right. So now we're going to come into a wide leg forward fold. So we're going to take our feet nice and wide on your mat, and we're going to have the toes facing forward, right? From here, I'm going to show it this way. From here, we're going to fold at the waist with a flat back all the way down to the floor. The hands can reach down for the floor. Let the top of the head sink down. And if the knees need to bend here, that's okay. We're hanging upside down. Relaxing the head towards the floor. And we're going to bend now the right knee, start to travel the hands towards the right foot. And then let's switch to the other side, walking carefully over to the left. One more time over to the right. And back over to the left. From here, we're going to turn the left toes towards the short side of your mat. Leave your right leg right where it is. Keep this left knee bent as we cartwheel the arms up, open into warrior two. Right, so we're here in warrior two. We've relaxed the shoulders down away from the ears. And your warrior two doesn't have to be this big wide stance. You can walk the feet in closer together. We just want to have a bend in this forward knee and keep it right on top of the ankle, so not going past the ankle, yeah? So we're here. We're going to reverse warrior. We're gonna let the right hand float onto the back leg. The left palm is gonna reach up and back. And this might be a bit of a stretch here because we're pulling all the way up, and yours might be up here, right? So you don't have to, yours is gonna look very different from mine. Come all the way back to your warrior two. Now we're gonna come into our triangle pose. So we're gonna straighten that left leg, shift the hips towards the back of your mat, reach the front of the body. Hand can come down anywhere on the leg, or you can have a block here. What we wanna keep, what we wanna remember here is not to let the head hang, but we wanna have a nice extension through the top of the head. Yeah, arms are in a T, so they're just reaching in opposite directions. From here, we're gonna bend that left knee, bring both hands down either side of the front foot, rotate the back toes so all the toes are facing in the same direction. Right hand will come to the mat and your left arm will reach up. Now, you might want to drop this back knee so the left arm can reach up. So it's totally up to you. You can either do it with knee up or down, twisting. And now bring the left hand down, drop the knee if you haven't already, and reach the arms up. So now we're in this low lunge. You can leave the back toes tucked if you like, or untuck, up to you. What's gonna be important here is we want to make sure our pelvis is tucked under. So see if you can find that place where your pelvis is tucked under. Right arm reaches up. From here, we're gonna bend, hinge toward our bent knee. Okay, so we're here, we're hinging toward your bent knee. So we're feeling the stretch in through here. So this is how we help fix our posture, especially when we sit all day. This is the area that doesn't get stretched out. So if you sit a lot, this is a really, really good stretch to help with tight hips, tight back. And reach all the way back up. Hands come down to the floor. We're gonna come back to our wide leg forward fold. So we're gonna tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, turn both toes towards the long side of your mat, and come back into your wide leg forward fold. Let the head hang. We're gonna do the other side now. So walking the hands towards the right foot, bending the right knee. Now we turn the right toes towards the short side of your mat. Knee is bent, left leg is straight as we cartwheel all the way up warrior two. So see if you can come sit a little deeper in your warrior two. Again, relax the shoulders. And again, that back foot can come in a little bit if you're in too deep. We're holding and breathing. Let's let the back hand fall. Front hand flips up, reach up and back for a reverse warrior. Breathe. Take the gaze up towards the sky. And come all the way back to your warrior two. Now we're gonna come into our triangle. So we're gonna straighten the right leg, shift the hips back towards the back of the mat, reach the right arm as far as it will go, triangle pose. And again, your triangle pose might be up here. You know, it doesn't have to be this crazy deep thing. We just wanna make sure we have a nice flat spine and the chest is rotated open towards the sky. All right, so we're gonna bend the right knee, bring both hands down to the floor, rotate the back toes. So everything is facing forward, you're in your low lunge. Again, your knee can come down here, or you can keep the knee up, totally up to you. Left hand to the floor as the right arm reaches up and over. Breathing nice and deep. And we'll drop the knee, bring the hand down, come up into your low lunge. So again, that back toe can stay tucked or untucked, up to you, keeping that right knee bent over the ankle. Now we're gonna bring the left hand down, or sorry, right hand, we're gonna hinge over towards our bent knee. So now I'm stretching out this left front of my hip. And breathe. Oh, and make sure your hips are tucked under here. I forgot to mention that. So make sure the hips are tucked under, then reach up and over. And breathe. And go ahead and come all the way up. Hands come back down to the floor. We're going to lift up that back knee again, tuck the toes, lift the knee. Walk yourself back to your wide leg forward fold. So here, if you want to take this a little further, bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, and you're going to let your arms reach up overhead. You could keep them just lightly resting on the back, or you could take them up and over. So you have to know what's safe in your body and safe for your shoulders. So this might not be something your shoulders are ready for right now. So you decide. And then slowly release. Bring the hands down to the floor. Bend the knees, and we're going to roll up really nice and slow. Coming all the way back up. And then we'll heel toe or hop the feet back together. Come back to your mountain pose. Mountain pose. Take a few breaths here. Soft knees. Let your feet really sink down into the floor. Remember, the shoulders are back and down. Lifting up through the top of the head. Find that posture. That feels good. Breathing nice and deep. The heart rate starts to come down. So we're going to come into camel pose. Now, typically camel pose is done on your knees, but I know not everyone has the ability to sit on their knees. So if that is completely uncomfortable for you, you can stay standing. Otherwise, you can also pad your knees if you want to with a blanket or a pillow. Totally up to you. Now, in camel pose, we are going to, if you're on your knees, go ahead and tuck your toes. You're going to bring both hands to the your low back. So just right here, and then draw the elbows towards each other. So again, we're still working on opening up that chest. So that's the part when we think about, you know, a rounded posture, that's the part that gets real weak. We need to strengthen and stretch the front of the chest. So if you're on your feet, same idea here. Hands are going to go right behind the low back. Soft knees, elbows drawing together. Now from here, this is a back bend, but we're not going to bend from the low back and do this kind of thing because that's going to be ouchy and we don't want that. So what we want to do instead is think of this little string pulling you up from the center of your chest. So the chest starts to lift and then we lean back. So the back bend is actually happening in the upper back. Okay, so and if you're on your knees, you're going to push the hips forward, lift with the chest, lean the head back, and breathe. And carefully coming all the way back up. We're going to pause for a second. We're going to do that one more time. So as you're ready, hands come to the low back. Again, if you're on your knees, you're going to shift the hips forward. So we really want kind of almost an exaggerated forward movement of the hips. Draw the elbows together, lift the heart as you lean back. Breathe. If you're more advanced, you might even reach for your feet. But again, just doing what you know is safe in your body. And starting to come back up. Ah, fabulous. All right, let's make our way into a child's pose. So again, you can use your blanket under your head if you like. Taking a couple deep cleansing breaths here. Maybe the eyes close as you find your way into your child's pose. We're going to make our way into our final pose. Well, actually, I lied. We're gonna have one pose before our final pose. So we're gonna make our way into pigeon pose because we want to go ahead and continue to stretch out our hips. So pigeon pose also has lots of variations. So one variation would be to bring, let me see if I can show you, one knee bent across the front and then the other leg goes back. So looks like this. And you want to stay right in the center of the hips. And then you start to make your way down like this. But this is not necessarily accessible for everyone. So another option would be to do this at the wall. And I think I showed you guys this like a week or two ago. But you would come onto your back, cross one ankle over the other knee, and then slide the other foot down. Now, if your butt starts to lift up off the floor, you want to move that foot back up the wall so that your butt can rest on the floor. So you get to decide what feels the best in your body. If your hips are very tight and you have to struggle with your back to kind of like get into this position, maybe you just come onto your back and do this because this is really restful and peaceful for your back and your spine will feel really good. Otherwise, you can do flying pigeon. And maybe you come down to your forearms. Maybe you stack your fists. We're going to hold here for about a minute, and we're just going to breathe here in our pigeon pose. So whatever version you find yourself in, see if you can sink down into the floor. Breath is moving. Notice where your mind goes in this pose. So a lot of times when we hold a pose and we're just kind of hanging out there, that's the time when our mind starts to get really active and take us all over the place. But the key in a pose like this or in any uncomfortable pose is just to focus on the breath. So that's what's going to get us through when we're in an uncomfortable spot as we breathe. We soften down into the floor, we breathe, we release, relax. One more breath here. And we're going to switch sides. So if you're in the position like me, you're going to come up. Maybe you come into a down dog. And then switch sides. If you're on your back, you're just going to cross the other leg over. And again here, so we're going to take the opposite leg. If you're like me, reach it back, stay in the center of the hip, so not rolling off to the side. So you might have a little gap here between the floor and your hip, and that's perfectly fine. And then start to make your way into your pigeon pose. Again, find the breath. See if you can notice where you're resisting. So maybe there's some resistance kind of held in that hip. Maybe you're kind of like holding on here, and see if you can soften and let that resistance go. Or you might be resisting, mentally. So see if you can identify it and soften it. Allow whatever needs to happen in this pose to happen and breathe. Again, staying very safe in our body. What do you notice on this side? Is it the same as the other side? Is it different? We'll take one more deep cleansing breath here. And you're going to make your way into your Shavasana. So you can come through down dog if you want to take one more down dog and make your way onto your back. Again, you can use something under your head if you have a blanket or pillow. If you feel like you want to do a little more chest opening, you could roll the pillow, place it underneath your shoulder blades, and lie back like this. And this will just continue to kind of give you some really great benefits for your spine. But this can be uncomfortable to hold for a long time. So you decide if you want to hang out here for a minute and then remove the blanket and come back to your back. So you get to decide, and maybe you just head straight to Shavasana because you are ready to relax. So in your Shavasana, lying on your back, I like to take my legs wide, my arms wide, and just take up some space. And then let your back relax down into the floor. Do a little guided relaxation to end our class today. So go ahead and make yourself comfortable on your back. And taking some deep cleansing breaths. And relaxing down into the floor. So if you can imagine yourself becoming really heavy with relaxation. Just kind of dissolving down into your mat. Relaxing the legs and the feet, the arms and hands, the torso, the spine relaxes down into the floor. The tailbone. Relaxing the back of the neck and the throat. And then start to relax the jaw. And maybe you have to open and close the mouth really wide a few times just to kind of release any tension that might be stored in your jaw. Go ahead and do that. Wiggle the jaw around. Loosen it up. Relaxing the teeth, the tongue, the lips. And then relaxing all of the tiny muscles around the eyes and the eyelids. So if you could just kind of feel all of that space around the eyes relaxing, and your eyes are sinking back towards the back of the head. And the eyebrows and the forehead, relax, and the scalp. And you're noticing yourself lying here, being held by whatever surface you're lying on. And just notice the back of the body being held by the floor. Notice that you are safe. And just allow your breath to deepen, to slow down. As you relax your body and your mind. Taking this time just for you, nowhere for you to be, nowhere for you to go, but right here, right now. Relaxing, cultivating that peaceful state that always exists within you. So it's sort of like if you imagine the ocean, on the surface of the water, the waves can be choppy. It gets stormy and it's churning and there's waves. But if you go down below the surface, it's still and peaceful and quiet. And we all have that within us. But we have to slow down enough to find it. We have to sink down into restful relaxation, meditation to find that stillness. So today, as you're lying here, relaxing, taking this time just for you, see if you can sink down beneath the surface. Finding the stillness deep within. And we'll take a few more deep cleansing breaths here. And start to gently wiggle the toes and fingers, the wrists and ankles. If it feels good, take a deep stretch of the arms overhead, reaching. Let the arms come back down to the sides as you make your way onto your side. And you can either pause here for a moment or come back up to seated. Keeping the eyes closed for just one moment more. So we're about to go back to our day. And just take a moment to notice how you feel. Notice if anything shifted from when you started class today. Perhaps your back feels more open. Perhaps not. It's not important. We're just noticing. And then drawing the hands together in front of the heart. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Thank you for joining me today, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Namaste.